in 2-3 minutes. Hi, this is Sanjay Gupta from Chetna NGO, and we'll be starting very soon this very important webinar on the developing understanding on new amendment under FCRA law. And so we are waiting for people to join. Those who have already joined, very warm welcome. And we are streaming this on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook as well from Chetna's social media. So those, if you miss anything, so don't be worry, and then you can go back and listen to the live streaming. I can see many people have already joined. Elizabeth, Inpel, Mary, Sahaj, Ajay. Thank you so much. You just need not to say anything. I'm just taking your name and so many people have already joined. This is really good. Hello and warm welcome. So we are about to start our webinar on developing understanding on what the new amendments are proposed under FCRA and what is this FCRA portal do. So we'll be starting soon. All the friends who are joining, very warm welcome. And as I repeatedly said, all these are also streamed through our social media, Chetna's YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So in case you miss anything during the conversation, please don't be worried. Just go back and then hear all those videos. So we have just started and questions are starting popping. Somebody has asked, are we also planning in person? That may be slightly difficult. We cannot commit anything for that. But definitely, if opportunity arrives and if people are happy to share their cost to come to Delhi, we can plan something in person as well. So as you are aware that there are new amendment in FCRA laws, and this is very important for any NGO who is holding the FCRA or is intending to have FCRA through prior permission. They should know what these new amendments are. So for which we have organized this webinar and we have invited our guest. So here he is, Mr. Rakesh Mitra. Thank you so much, sir, for joining today. We are going to introduce you in just about 2 minutes. We are just waiting for more participants. We are already crossing 20. And because this is a very important webinar to understand what the new FCRA amendments are. So hence, it is very important for any NGO who is holding FCRA or intending to apply for prior permission, they should know what these new amendments are. We have crossed 2 minutes past 12:30, which is our standard time, but still, if we can wait for 1 more minute and then we'll start. People have also asked if we can also organize similar consultation on FCRA vis-a-vis labor code. So we will definitely discuss with our esteemed guest today. And if all goes good, we may come back with that as well. In the morning hour from 11 to 12, we have organized the same consultation in Hindi that was overwhelmed. More than 100 people have joined. because it is going live stream, so people are watching from that as well. So same here in the English session, we are expecting people to join, and because more than 160 people have registered there for English as well. So if they join and we can start immediately, already we have crossed 30. Thank you so much for all those who are joining from Ashadi Foundation and other organizations who have already joined in. Very warm welcome. Mr. Joseph, CSED, everybody. Many of you are known to us, so I can see from name Vinita ji, Shahrukh, Sakshi. Many thanks for all those who have joined. Okay.
Sanjay, we should start.
Yeah, I think yes. So we should start. So very warm welcome on behalf of Chetna family. We welcome all the participants and people who have joined. And as we are discussing today, the amendment under FCRA laws, and as the law has actually witnessed lots of changes in past 2 years. So it is very important for all of us who are holding the FCRA or intending to apply for uh, FCRA prior permission, they should know what these laws are. To discuss all that, we have invited Mr. Rakesh Mittal, a very, very renowned CA, and we call him the Friends of NGOs because he talks in a very simple language. He tried his level best to make everybody understand what these laws are, and especially because his journey, almost 45 years, he has been witnessing the different changes in the laws in the NGO sector, and especially about its FCRA since 84. So that makes him very unique, very special. And thank you so much, Rakesh ji, for joining this live webinar in English.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you so much
for having
So
me here.
yeah, so the format would be that once we start, we'll hand over to Mr. Rakesh Mittal. He will be saying whatever he intend to. So between that, we humbly request no disturbance, no phone, sorry, no mic on, please, no video streaming because he is the totally on him that what he says, you may please listen. But if you have any question, you are welcome to write in the chat box. And at the end, we'll also take your questions in between. So over to you, Mr. Rakesh. So we would be very happy to hear from you. What are the proposed amendment? And specifically, what is this FCRA portal to? Over to you, Mr. Rakesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sanjay ji. At the outset, first of all, I would like to thank Chetna NGO as well as Sanjay ji for holding this very, very important webinar because FCRA has become talk of the country these days. And we can see a lot of news. Earlier, nobody used to see any news about FCRA, but in the recent years, every now and then something is coming on FCRA. So, particularly in the last 6 to 8 months, there were so many things happened, which I think we as a NGO person, the whole sector need to know about it. So, if you remember or if you have observed, many of you might have faced also, there were bulk registration cancellation towards the end of 2025. So the department has had a drive where they have caught those organizations who did not receive any fund for consecutive 2 years or did not spend any fund from FCR account. So their registration was cancelled. So almost 1800 plus organizations registration was cancelled towards the end of 2025. And another irony is that they cannot apply for another 3 years because Section 15 of the FCRA Act says that if your registration, either you surrender your registration or if your registration is cancelled, you cannot apply for the next 3 years. So we can very well see the intention of the government because first thing is very, very clear that government doesn't want to compromise with the internal security of the country. And they, because FCRA is considered as a high risk funding, there are a lot of input to the government that there could be some agenda from the donors, there could be some other complications, some money laundering, some terror funding, and so many other things are involved in this. So government is very, very cautious about this FCRA funding for NGOs. So that was one reason. And second is that government wants that those organizations which are very, very small, they hardly have any activities, and particularly they hardly receive any fund from abroad. Better they should concentrate on local fund from CSR, because about 23,000 crores comes from FCRA to India. And you,
We'll just come back. Mr. Bittal has got one important call, so please be patient. If you have any question, you may please write in the chat box. So, hi. So, as we are just going through this small conversation, Mr. Mittal is back. Thank you so much, sir. And we can start again. So, we were just hearing what he was saying about the amendment changes. Over to you, Mittal, sir, again.
sorry, extremely sorry. Actually, there was one phone call coming and he called at least 20 times. So I had to pick up his phone and say that I'm busy in the webinar, though the phone was on silent. So what I was saying that there was so many things happening during the last few months on FCRA matter. And if you remember, the government has introduced a bill in the parliament on 25th of March, 2026, and they wanted to make some amendment in the act. Largely, that amendment was related to the assets acquired out of FC fund. And if your FC registration, section 15 already says that if you have acquired any asset out of FC fund, and if your registration is cancelled or if you surrender your registration, then asset belongs to the government. The government can acquire that or take over that asset. But and this is there since long, but there was no mechanism how to do it. So the government wanted to specify the whole mechanism how the process will go on. But that bill is not passed by the parliament so far. It was only introduced. So there is no point in talking about those things, because once it is passed by the parliament and it becomes an act, or the amendment is notified, then we can have another webinar on that. So that was one thing. It was just before the election of 5 states, and that bill was introduced. And then after that, on 22nd of June 2026, the government made amendment in the rules. So if the government has to make amendment in the act, they have to go to the parliament. Without that, they cannot do anything. But for rules, they can do among themselves. I mean, the bureaucracy can amend the rules, and the department can amend the rules. So uh, the rules were amended, and there were some important changes government has brought, which I think everybody who is working in the NGO sector and who is dealing with FCRA funds, they should know about it. So I would like to explain some of those things. What are the new amendments? Which there was one amendment, one notification about the amendment in the rules. Then immediately after that, there was another notification in revision of some compounding fees. Some more things were included for penalty and compounding. And then very recently, our Honorable Home Minister Shri Amit Shah ji has launched the new portal of FCRA, FCRA 2.0, and that was launched on 30th of June. So we will discuss about all these things in the coming time now. So first of all, I would like to concentrate on the amendment in the rules. So there were few amendments the department has made in the rules, and which we need to know. The first and the most important one is the registration to specify the purpose and the state or union territory for operation. So the current position at present is the association only indicate a broad nature of work. If you remember from the day one, there are five categories defined by the FCRA: religious, social, educational, cultural, and economic. So when you apply for registration or when you apply for private permission, you have to tick any one or more than one of these, or even all of them, and you have to specify that your organization will work in any of these categories. So, but now they have specified the categories more specifically. They have made 105 specific purposes under these categories. So there are about 24 purposes under religious, under social, under educational, under cultural, economic. So somewhere 24, somewhere 22, somewhere 29. So different purposes are defined. So altogether, there are total 105 purposes. So your organization has to specify under which purpose you want to receive money and use the money. So that is very, very categorically defined now. And in addition to that, you have to define the location also. Where do you want to work? So in India, there are 28 states and 8 union territories. So you have to define and you have to take permission from the government that our organization will work on these many states and these many union territories. So for all the existing organization, you have to apply in the new form FCF6F. 1 year time is given. So this notification was made on 22nd of June 2026. So you have time up to 21st of June 2027. Before that, you have to apply online in form number FC6F, and you have to mention for which purpose you want to receive and utilize the money, and in which location you want to work. That is for existing organization, and those who apply for the new registration, new prior permission, then it is inbuilt in the form. So you have to apply for that. One purpose and one location is free. And for remaining purposes and remaining location, you have to pay 300 rupees each. So there is a slight expenses burden on the organization, but it's not too much. But you have to pay 300 rupees for each purpose and 300 rupees for each location. But you have to specify the purpose and location, which is very, very important. And more so, when you file the annual return in Form SC4, it has to be the audit certificate, audited statement of account, receipt payment account, balance sheet, income expenditure account. There also you have to report it in the same format. You have to report location wise, you have to report purpose wise also into that. So that is very, very important. Second thing is there is a clarification on reasonable activity. Those who have applied for FCRA or for registration or for prior permission, uh, for registration especially, if you apply for FCRA registration, the government asks that you must have spent at least 15 lakhs of rupees in the last 3 financial years. Then only your registration will be granted. So that shows that you must have done some reasonable activity under your organization. So now it has become, they have added it into a rule that all the small organization will be wiped out with this. The government has specified that if you have not incurred an expenditure of 10 lakhs of rupees in the preceding 2 financial year, suppose you are applying for renewal this year, and in the financial year 25-26 and financial year 24-25, if you have not spent 10 lakhs together or more than 10 lakhs, at least 10 lakhs, then you are not eligible for renewal. Your renewal will not be granted. So this is also very, very important. And as the background, as I already explained, that the government consider FCRA fund is a very high risk source of funding. And therefore, it is important that only credible and genuinely active association continue to receive. So that's why in a new rule 14A that provides that an association which has utilized at least 10 lakhs of rupees foreign contribution towards its stated purposes during the preceding 2 financial year will be deemed to have undertaken reasonable activity, and only they will be eligible for renewal of FCR. And this establishes a very clear and objective benchmark for renewal and cancellation of the decision and reduce the ambiguity. Next change is the introduction of the word key functionary. Now, when you apply for FCRA registration or for prior permission, there are always some confusion that whether we should report the office bearers or whether we should report the whole executive committee or whether we should report the governing body members or so now all the ambiguities is clear. Government has removed all those nomenclature. You now name it by any name. Any person who is in your management committee is managing your organization or who is influencing any decision of the organization or any policy of the organization will be considered as a key functionary. And you have to report all the key functionary when you apply for FCRA for registration or for uh, prior permission. So this is another change. So in some of the organizations, we may see that some very hardcore professional people are appointed as the CEO of the organization. So now under this rule, maybe the CEO category can also be included, and their salary will also be reported under admin cost because Rule 5 says that any expenditure spent on the governing board members or the management committee or the governing body, all those expenditure will be reported under admin. So the CEO salary may also go to admin if he is considered as a key functionary. Then there is another provision that foreign national cannot hold any key position in the organization. Many organizations, they keep some donor representatives in the organization on their board or some foreign nationals on their board. So now the government says that unless it is a OCI or POI, person of Indian origin or OCI, only those people can be on the board. All other people, you have to take permission from the government. The government will give you specific permission. You have to ask to put any foreign national on the board. It was already there, but it is now more clarified and explanation is given under that. So the government says that a person responsible for the association's management will ordinarily not be eligible for registration or permission. At the same time, the central government may permit exception in genuine cases. So if you really want to, there is a genuine case that you want to appoint any foreign national on a key position, then you have to apply to the government. And if they permit you, then you can put that. Then next change is foreign contribution to be utilized only for the activities carried out in India. This is very specifically provided in the rules now that whatever money you receive from foreign donor, and it is aligned with the first thing which I have said that you have to spend according to the purpose and you have to spend on a specified location. So, and all the locations are defined within India. So now it is very clear that any foreign fund received has to be spent only within India and for the activities carried out within India. So that change is also made in the rules. Then there is a nomenclature of ultimate donor, identification of the ultimate donor. In many cases, the donations are routed through overseas intermediaries. And such a donor advisory fund, we call them DAFF. So the name of the actual donor is not reflected in the record. So accordingly, when foreign contribution is received through DAFF or any similar overseas intermediary donatory, the FC4 return now will require to disclose the name and address and email address of the ultimate donor, who is the original donor who has given you the money. So his email address, his name should be disclosed in the FC4 annual return. Now there are some disclosure strengthening also made by the government. When you file your annual return in FC4, earlier it was only financial statement attached to it, the bank statement and the financial statement. Now you have to attach the activity report also. So for that particular year, when you are filing FC4 annual return, in addition to the financial statement, you have to attach the activity report also, and you have to report all your social media handles all the social media accounts in not only at the time of registration, but also at the time of FC4 annual return. Moreover, if you have done any publication during that year, any article you have published in the newspaper or any book or any magazine or anything, that also have to be reported along with the FC4 annual return. So this is a new thing for bringing more transparency by the organization. This has been introduced. Then there is another Form 3 FC3BB is introduced, which is not yet notified, but it will be notified very soon, maybe within a week or so. According to that, if you apply for a prior permission for a large prior permission, particularly over 1 crore. So if you have applied for a prior permission for more than 1 crore, then you will receive the fund in installment. So suppose you have two installment of 50 lakhs each. So unless you spend 75% of the previous installment, after spending 75% of the previous installment money, you have to inform the government that we have used 75%. You have to file a utilization certificate by the chartered accountant, and then there will be field inquiry to confirm that you have already used 75%. Then you have to fill up a form FC3BB, and you have to take permission from the government to receive the second installment, and then the government will release the second installment uh, after that. So that was also a change. Then there are some changes in compounding fees. So there are already a lot of penalties provided under the rules. Actually, if you violate any FCRA provision, government gives you opportunity that you pay penalty for that violation and do the compounding, and then you can continue with your FCRA registration. So there are many activities included into that. Suppose you don't file form in time, you don't file annual return in time. If you don't file form FC6 A, B, C, D, E within 45 days, if you mix foreign and local funds, if you so there are so many proposed, or you can say indicative violations of FCRA provision, which can be compounded by paying a particular fees in the form of penalty. Some more things are included in this. Particularly, three more things are included. Speculative activities are also now included. Suppose the organization have invested their money into share market or mutual funds, or then there will be a penalty of 30% of the money invested into speculative activities, or 1 lakh, whichever is higher. Then second is, if you utilize any money for any other purpose, which is not your purpose, like you have to now define your purpose for which you have to receive money, or you can receive money, or you can utilize the money. If you utilize your money other than those purposes, then also you have to pay penalty for that. And that is again 30% or 1 lakh, whichever is higher, 30% of the utilized amount for other purpose. And the last one is that if you utilize your money in any location other than the location permitted to you, or any purpose other than the purpose permitted to you, then also you have to pay penalty of 30% or 1 lakh, whichever is higher. So these are also included in this. Then there is a new clause: the government entities are exempted from FCRA. Now, when you apply for form FC3 ABC, and there is a column added into that, the forms are revised. And if you are a government agency, you need not to apply for FCRA registration, you are exempted for that. Unless this is only if you fulfill three conditions. And what are these three conditions? That the association has been constituted or established by or under any central act or a state act. That is first condition. Or by any administrative or executive order of the central government or the state government. Second condition is the association is wholly owned by the respective government. And the third condition is the association is required to have its accounts compulsorily audited by the Controller and Auditor General of India, that means CAG. If you fulfill all these three conditions, then you are exempted from FCRA. So these are few amendments brought in the amendment rules 2026, which we have to be very, very careful. I must say that your CA must be well versed with the FCRA latest amendments and latest rules and regulations, because any small mistake can end up in a huge penalty, which can turn into lakhs or crores of rupees. So you have to be very, very careful. And now at the end, we will discuss about the new FCRA portal. Our Honorable Home Minister has launched the FCRA 2.0 portal on 30th of June recently. And it's a very, very user-friendly portal. A lot of things will be eased out with this portal. Of course, for the last since the day it was launched, people are not able to log in because there are some teething problems, some initial glitches are there. But I think within a week time, every problem will be over, and you can smoothly operate through that portal. It will be a single login for all FCRA services. Earlier, you have to separately log in separately for your registration, for prior permission, for replying to the clarification. For every time you have to log in separately. Even if you file form FC6 A, B, C, D, you have to log in separately. So now there is a single login for all FCRA services. There will be a single dashboard to access all your application, your registration, your annual returns, your compliance status. Everything will be visible on that single dashboard. Now, this new portal is already linked with the income tax department, with the Darpan portal, with the ICAI, and with the banks. So the government will receive real-time information from all these agencies. So everything will be visible to them. Earlier, most of the checks will be directly there on the portal itself. Suppose you file any document in the portal and the document is not very clearly visible, or the document is not correct, the portal itself will reject the document. So once the document is accepted, then you can be very sure that you have filed the right document. Similarly, earlier you have to sign through your signature. The copy of your signature is uploaded on the portal for your signature on registration form or renewal form or this prior permission form or on annual return. Now, there is no need to sign. There will be Aadhaar-based e-sign for all the paperless filing. So the OTP will go to the chief functionary's registered Aadhaar mobile number, and with that OTP, you can sign your document. So that will be also very comfortable for most of the organization. It will ease out the uploading of signature, and automatic validation of upload of document on and reduce deficiency and repeated submissions. Now you don't need to repeat any submission. Earlier, if you have uploaded any document, the portal will automatically retrieve that document. So you don't need to upload same thing again and again and again. And secondly, because it is linked with the bank, so the government will take real-time information from the bank. As soon as your donor send money in your SBI designated FCRA account in Delhi, it will be reflected on the portal itself. So all your bank account, your utilization account, your designated account, government can see on the real-time basis on the portal. There will be very faster verification through digital integration. Then there will be stronger verification of association and office bearers. Now, because the government will ask for key functionaries, Aadhaar number, PAN number, mobile number, so they will be able to know that the same person is on the board of so many other, if he is on the board of any other organization also. Same with the office bearers who are in that organization. So over a period of time, I think it will ease out a lot of burden from the organization, and the portal will be much more user friendly with the as compared to the previous portal, though there are some initial glitches, and until yesterday nobody was able to log in into that portal, but now onwards I think it is getting smoother slowly and gradually, and I believe that over a period of time, within the next 1 week, everything will be very, very smooth. So these are the few amendments made by the government. Sanjay ji, we can take some questions if anybody has any question in mind.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I think this was very, very well informative, and which makes you very unique, sir. And you are one of the most eminent chartered accountant who is very well versed and detailed while you give your knowledge and share knowledge and presentation. So,
Thank you,
uh,
sir. Thank you.
yeah. So now we have few questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
One thing is from where we would consider that these amendments are start. So what is the starting date?
It is immediately. So it was notified on 22nd of June. So it is
Mm-hmm.
started from 22nd of June.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Second question was, do we have any format prescribed for reporting? As you said, we need to report.
No, all the forms will be revised now in the new portal. So forms
Mm-hmm.
3A, 3B, 3C, and also FC4 and FC6, A, B, C, D, E, F, all the forms will be revised. So earlier when you file FC4, you have to file six things earlier. Your stamp of the organization, signature of the chief functionary, copy of the bank statement,
Mm-hmm.
and audited financial statement, all those things has to be filed. Now, in at that time also, you will see that your activity report column will be there. So you have to upload your activity report. Then there will be a separate column for publications. So you have to upload all your publications or any article published in the newspaper or anywhere by your organization or member of your or by the key functionaries.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one more question, which is anyway is a already you have already expressed, but because the person has asked, Mr. Vijay is asking, any fee applicable if we work in the different state?
Yes. As I told you earlier, that all the existing organizations who are registered under FCRA, you have to fill up the form FC6F, and one location and one purpose is free, and for the remaining 104 purposes, and for the remaining 35 states and union territories, you have to pay 300 rupees per purpose and per location. So that fees you have to pay online when you file a Form XCC. Now, it is not necessary that you can change it later also. For example, as on today, you feel that you can work only for 10 purposes or for 10 states. So you can apply in FC6 that we want to work for 10 states and 10 purposes. Later on, if you want to add any purpose, if you want to delete any purpose, you have to again file FC6 and take permission from the government. So again file FC6F. And you can always add locations by filing the FC6F later.
Okay, so one more question, sir. That if any NGO has already mentioned in their bylaws, trust deed, or society law that they will be working pan India, so will that be sufficient, or we need to inform again?
No, no, you have to take permission by filing Form FC6F. Even if you are working pan India, then you fill up that you want to work in all 36 states and union territories and pay 36 into 300, 35 into 300, then take permission from the government. Then only you can work pan India.
Okay, so one more question is that if organization is already working in different states, do we have any time spent where we can inform the government?
1 year.
1 year.
Government has given 1 year time. So up to 21st of June 2027. Before
Okay.
that, you have to take permission from the government. You can continue working all those states, but take a
Okay.
permission before 1 year.
Hmm. So one question is regarding assets. So there is a confusion in the assets that any FCRA asset, which can be as per the organization policy. For example, somebody is saying my fan is also an asset. Somebody say my car is an asset. So how do we differentiate in the asset? And there is also a like a fear among NGOs that that there is a proviso that if the NGO is not capable to take their work forward. So then government will take their assets forward. So what is that? If you can explain, please.
Yeah. There are two kind of asset. One is immovable and one is movable. So any asset reported in your form FC4 until last year under your FC account. So all those assets are FC assets created out of FC fund. So if there are some perishable assets, for example, as you said, fan is there or computer is there, which is completely out of use now, or it has become scrap, then you can scrap those assets and you can, all the sale proceeds should also be reported in the FC4. So that is one thing. For immovable items, it is already mentioned in the section 15. There is nothing new in that. It is already there that if any asset created out of foreign fund, and if your FCRA registration is cancelled or if your FCRA registration is surrendered by the organization, then those assets will be acquired by the government. So it belongs to the government then. And it is in our in income tax also, we have a concept that assets created for public will remain for public. So even in the Trust Registration Act or Society Registration Act, they say that when the trust or societies are defunct, or if they are wound up, then the assets will be transferred to a similar society or a similar trust. It is mentioned in the trust deed and the bylaws. So, but in FCRA, in this case, the asset will belong to the government if your FCA is cancelled. You can apply for registration. If you get
Yep.
the registration, your asset will continue, will be with you.
Mhm.
But if for a longer time, if you don't get a new registration, then it will be acquired by the government.
Okay. So one more question that if we have already bought assets from the previous FC grants, do we need to keep reporting them in the new format?
Yes, assets is always reported. This amendment came before 3 years. So I think last 2 years, everybody is reporting their FC assets in the FC4. So whatever is assets reported in the FC4, that will continue to be the assets of assets created out of FC funds. And if you purchase any fresh asset, that will be added to that.
Okay. So another question is, sir, what is the process of depreciation? Do we need to depreciate as we do in the local grant? What is the process for FC?
In my opinion, FC in foreign contribution, you should not depreciate, because it is when you file annual return FC4, it is a kind of utilization return. So where you show that this was the opening balance and this is the amount received during the year, this is the amount spent during the year, this is the closing balance. And during that particular year, if you buy any asset, that asset is according to the direction of the donor, because you have submitted a proposal to the donor. Donor has approved that proposal that you can buy these assets, you can buy land, you can buy property, you can buy vehicle, you can buy computer, you can buy anything. So according to the donor instruction, according to the proposal approved by the donor, according to the budget approved by the donor, you buy those assets. So that asset has been, the moment you buy it, it is utilized. And we show it as utilized in the receipt and payment account. So in my opinion, we should not go for depreciation, but for your internal purposes, you can always monitor that asset.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. One more
But
question
for
that. Hmm.
publication, you have to report only current year. You don't need to report all the previous year publication because this amendment has come only now. So when you file for those who have already filed their FC4 before 22nd of June, they don't need to disclose any publication because that is already filed. They don't need to file again. But
Okay.
those who want to file now, after 22nd of June, if you file now, all the publications, all the articles, all the social media handles, that has to be reported in Form FC4
Thank
for
you so
the
much.
financial year 2025-26.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, as we are going ahead with the conversation, if you have any question, please keep mentioning. I have few questions in with my list. I am going to keep asking. And if you're liking the session by Mr. Rakesh Mittal, a very prominent CA and a child friend and sorry, NGO friendly CA, you can show your thumb or show some solidarity if you are liking and if you are hearing our conversation. So, my next question is, sir, you have said about the donor, the original donor. What that means, sir? For example, in many cases, for the foreign funding, we know only one donor who has given us, but sometimes it is also in our knowledge that he has also taken from someone else. So, how do we track that, and what would be the concept of original donor?
Actually, primary it is to grab the terror funding and money laundering and these kind of things. So government want to know the original donor. Sometimes a terrorist organization can donate to some intermediary organization, and you receive from that intermediary organization, which you don't mention in the FC4. So now the government want that ultimate donor should be reported. Now, how deep you have to go? Because suppose you receive grant from any a donor agency in USA, if they receive fund from someone else, that someone else receive fund from someone else. So how deep you have to go. I think some clarification has to come from the department about this ultimate donor, because it is going to create a lot of confusion among the mind that up to what depth we have to go for ultimate donor. Normally, people report only the donor agencies and the individuals from where they receive the money. But it is specifically, very specifically said that for crowdfunding and for intermediary or for DRF, you have to report to the original donor also. Their name and their email address you have to report.
Okay, sir. Many organization has built in the online system of receiving grants. What is your advice for that? They get direct grant from the FCRA from through their PayPal or through their website.
So for online receiving of grant, their filter should be there, and anybody who want to donate any money to your organization, there should be a detailed format where he has to disclose everything: his name, his address, his email ID, his mobile number, website address, and all those things should be disclosed so that you will be safe. So for anybody who is taking online donation, I would say that there should be a filter for that. And first you get all the information from the donor, then only you receive the fund. I mean, without fulfilling that form, he should not be able to deposit money in your FCRA designated account.
Okay, sir. We have also understood that sometime, like we have individual donor and they have given for like a loose purpose. Organization can choose the way they want money, and sometimes they are very particular. So how we should see that if the donor also has given us a purpose for spending, so can that purpose be changed as per our
That
understanding?
purpose must fit into those 105 purposes, for which you have to sensitize your donor also, and try to. I think those 105 purposes are very, very vast and very elaborative. So most of the things will be covered in that. But still, if your purpose is not covering, getting fit into those purposes, then you should go for the nearest fit purpose. So you have to discuss with your donor agency also that these are the specified purposes defined by the government. Now we will apply or receive grant only under these particular purposes.
Sir, in the past, we have heard that the government of India has banned some of the international donors to give money. So, people are concerned, how do we trap or trace that who is eligible to get receive fund or who is not? So it is very difficult for a common NGO to understand from where I am getting money, whether what is the government of India's perspective towards that particular donor. For some time, people are afraid to whether to get money from the US supported donors or not.
Yeah, actually, normally to curb that practice, also this ultimate donor concept has come, and some of the lists are available on the website or in Google, which are the donors which are prohibited by the government of India in some portals of the government. But yeah, I agree with you that it is very difficult for a normal NGO to know whether this government is banned by the government of India or not. So once you disclose the name of the donor, then you will receive a notice from the government that you cannot take from this.
So what is the do we have any advice on like publicly, for example, sometime we make films out of FCRA money, sometimes we print a report, and though you have already explained that in detail, but still people have concern that if I have written a book at my personal level and actually I'm sharing my view on NGO sector and how we are affected by ABC policy or something. So what is the limit or what is the advice for what needs to be shared with the government? Everything or some
No,
guidelines?
everything has to be shared with the government. There is no doubt about
Okay.
it. Whatever you publish, now it has to be shared with the government. But as a caution of advice, anything like which hamper the activity of the government, or anything which is detrimental to the sovereignty of the country, or anything which is considered as a anti-national activity, or those things, if it is published, or if you want to influence any of those activities, definitely government will take action against you. So the organization should be very careful, especially if you are dealing with foreign money. Uh, We should not do anything which is detrimental to the sovereignty of India.
Yeah, sure, sir. And one example I think you had given in the our Hindi conversation that in one case one of the trustee was actually running a press. So what would be
Yeah, if your
the
trustee is running a publishing house, then you have to disclose it. That one of our trustees is running a publishing house, and he is also, if he is a author of any of the book in that publishing house, that should be shared with the government.
okay? So one question was that if we want to change the trustee for whatever reason, either the trustee is not eligible, not capable, or want to retire, or get into something where we need, or conflict of interest, how does it impact our FCRA?
FCRA has nothing to do with whether you want to change a trustee or you don't want to change a trustee. All they want is that the new trustee should you have to inform to the government that there is a addition in the trustee or there is a deletion in the trustee, and there will be a field report. If you add a trustee, then the government will ask for a field report about the activities, about the background of the trustee, and if it is found fishy, then they will not approve it. If the government approves, then he or she will become your trustee. So you can change your trustee. There is no problem in that, and there is no bar in that. But within 45 days, you have to fill up form FC6E and you have to inform to the government.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now we have left only with 10 minutes. So if any of you want to actually speak to Rakesh ji directly, please raise your hand or open your mic and ask one by one. If you have any,
And if there are no
because,
questions, we can wind up the session.
because I have few more questions on behalf of the participant. I wanted to give this to chance to the participants. Okay, so till then they are asking. So Rakesh ji, so one more important thing is how anyone can reach to you because you are such a detailed, you have given us insight. If anybody wants, how can they reach you?
I'm writing my email ID into that. So
Mhm.
for anybody who want to reach me, you can reach me through Sanjay ji. Sanjay ji is very well known to me, and you can always write a mail to me. I will respond to you definitely.
Okay, sir.
I've written the mail on the chat box.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so this is rmittal99 at
99 at hotmail.
hotmail.com. So a very simple email ID if anybody wants assistance from his. But please remember that it should be in actual advisory and not just asking too
Yeah,
many
it should be a
questions.
genuine question which you are really confused with. I mean, not for
Uh, bec- mm. So that is one thing. So probably second last question is that some of the chartered accountants who do audits for the NGOs, they always, come with their different kind of advisory. So somebody would say this and that. So can we download anything written by the institution of chartered accountant or ministry that everybody has to follow this perspective, this lens? You cannot interpret further.
No, as a NGO, you have to follow so many rules and regulations. There is the income tax, there is FCRA, there are labor laws, there are many Trust Act, Society Act, Companies Act, if you are a Section 8 company. So there are so many rules and regulations applicable to an NGO who is working in India. So there cannot be any conclusive thing that one has to do, but you have to follow the law of the land. That is the thumb rule. Whatever are the provisions for income tax or FCRA or Society Act or Trust Act or labor laws or whatever, anything which is applicable to you as an organization, you have to follow it. Don't, I mean, nobody can influence that you cannot do this or you should not do that or you should do this or you should do that. We have to follow the law. Whatever is written in now, if the auditor is not well versed with the law, then you should find the auditor who should understand the NGO sector and who should understand the rules and regulations applicable to because now there are a lot of compliance issues. There are so many compliances you have to make, and you have to be very, very careful. Otherwise, you might end up paying a huge penalty for any of the wrong activity. So, better to be careful. And
Yeah.
your auditor is your first guide because
Yeah.
we cannot expect you to know each and everything. But for any financial or legal matter, I think the first helper you go is your auditor. So have a good relationship with your auditor and keep interacting with him. Auditor is your friend, he is not your enemy.
Yeah, thank you. So, and also from your point, I'm also noting that the generally the NGOs look for the local chartered accountant who probably are aware of the FCRA law or not. So please be very careful when you are also choosing your chartered accountant, so that the person should be very well informed about what are the changes and accordingly is able to guide you. So I think with this, we would like to conclude the today's webinar in English. Mr. Mittal,
Thank you very
many,
much.
many
Thank you,
thanks.
Sanjay ji,
It
and
was
thank you
excellent.
all the participants for taking time.
Yes, and
I hope just be careful and be attentive. Whatever is going on in the universe, just keep your ears and eyes open.
yeah, and for the participant, if you have missed out anything, and if you later wish to consider what has been shared by Mr. Mittal, please go to Chetna's YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, where we have live streamed this so that it is ready for you with you. And if you also want to pass on to your peers, please do so. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye bye for
Thank
now.
you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.